Residency. Residency is quite possibly the most challenging, demanding, and stressful time in a doctor's life. It's also the time when you learn the most and you become the physician that you've always dreamt of being. Residency can and definitely will push you to your limits. Whether you're a pre-med, a medical student, or you're about to be a resident doctor, I'm here to help you navigate through medical training. If you're new around here, my name is Goodman. I'm just finishing up my second year of psychiatry residency training, and I'm about to be a third-year resident doctor. I make videos on YouTube where I talk about medical school and residency, and over the last year, I've dedicated the majority of my content to exposing the systemic issues that exist in medical training that contribute to mental health challenges for medical students and residents, and suboptimal patient care. And I provide solutions to try to push the culture in a more compassionate direction. If you haven't seen my recent TED Talk where I discuss all of this, definitely check that out. I'll include a link to that video at the end of this video. So first off, to the graduating medical students, congratulations. And graduating medical school is a huge accomplishment. So soak in the last few weeks you have before residency starts. You deserve this time to celebrate. As a resident who's been through 2 years of residency myself, I wanted to share some tips and advice with y'all today to help you not only survive, but thrive, maybe thrive during your residency training. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, snack or something, sit back, relax, and we're gonna dive in here. Tip number 1, protect your mental health. Residency can be incredibly demanding, both physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of the above. It's essential to prioritize your self-care. Everyone always talks about self-care, but most people don't really explain how to prioritize self-care. So I'm gonna tell you what I do, and maybe this can help you. When I think about self-care, I utilize the life force. This was created by a psychiatrist named Dr. Stutz. The life force is a triangle, right? And at the bottom of the triangle is your relationship to your body. This is, how are you sleeping? How are you eating? Are you eating balanced meals? Are you exercising? Are you taking care of your body? Once you have that down, you can go to the next layer in the triangle, which is your relationship to others. Human beings are social beings. We need to have other people in our lives that we communicate with, and whether that's friends or family, making sure that you dedicate the time with others, crucial for your mental health. The final layer, the top layer of the life force, is our relationship with ourselves. This includes taking time for self-care activities like meditation or journaling, or just pursuing hobbies that align with your values and aspirations. For me, it's gardening, it's skateboarding, it's relaxing, reading. Inevitably, in residency, things can fall apart. I mean, you work a 24-hour shift, you don't sleep. You need a quick meal and your nutrition falls off because you eat some sort of fast food. You go a few days without exercising. This happens. This is completely normal. Prioritizing self-care for me means that starting at the base and building up. While we're on the topic of self-care, I would definitely recommend looking into getting a therapist. Therapy has been one of the most helpful things for me in residency, because in residency, you see a lot of really sad stuff. You see death. You see people really suffer, and that takes a toll on you. Residency also takes you away from your friends and your family. And being able to cope with that and speak to somebody about what you're going through is essential. There's a lot of health insurance companies through your residency program that may offer therapy at a reduced rate. I definitely would recommend looking into that. I cannot express how important that's been in residency. Tip number 2, find a mentor. Having a mentor can make a world of difference during your residency. I recommend looking for someone who shares your professional values and can guide you through the challenges that you're going to face. A mentor can offer valuable advice, help you navigate through residency, which can be pretty tricky, and provide career advice. Don't be afraid to reach out, go out on a limb, and just say, hey, would you mentor me? It's not a weird question. People ask it all the time in medicine. You don't need 10 mentors. I'd say I have 3, maybe 4 at the most. Quality over quantity. Tip number 3, focus on your patients. Engaging with your patients, understanding their concerns, and treating them with compassion is so important, but it also can be easily overlooked when we're very stressed out, we're working long hours, and sometimes we feel like we don't have the time. I saw a quote recently that really shook me up a little bit, and I'm going to try to recite it to the best of my knowledge here. Hospitals are filled with people having the best day of their life, the worst day of their life, the first day of their life, and the last day of their life. That really hit me. Tip number 4, become an efficient note writer. Documentation is crucial. It's a crucial part of your residency training. Learning to write concise yet comprehensive notes will save you valuable time. When you first start residency, I would recommend finding a resident or a fellow or an attending who seems very efficient in writing notes. Ask for their help. Develop a system that works for you so you can use templates or dot phrases. It makes you so much more efficient. There's even apps where you can speak into your phone and the text will appear on the note. It's pretty amazing. When I first started, I was writing notes for like 4 hours every single day. And now I've essentially cut that time in half. So efficiency is key. Tip number 5, embrace continuous learning. Medicine is a rapidly evolving field, and as a resident, you are at the forefront of medical knowledge, which is pretty cool. You see medical advances in real time. So stay curious, read the latest research if you have time, attend conferences, and engage in educational activities. I actually just attended the American Psychiatric Association conference a few weeks ago over in San Francisco, and I learned a ton about new treatment options in psychiatric care. And I literally cannot wait to go back to the APA conference in New York for next year. So seek opportunities, expand your skill set and your expertise, and just remember that the learning doesn't really stop after medical school. Medicine is really a lifelong journey. I want to take this opportunity to thank TrueLearn for sponsoring this video. So you cannot become a resident doctor without passing the boards, period. And once you become a resident doctor, you still have more board exams to take, unfortunately. To this day, I have never met a medical student or a resident doctor who hasn't used a question bank to study for the boards. It's safe to say that a question bank is pretty much essential to pass a board exam. There's a few companies that offer question banks, but TrueLearn's question bank is on another level. It's not even a question bank, it's a smart bank. Your time is limited in medical school and in residency, and you need to make every second count while studying. I always say study smarter, not harder. So here are my favorite features of the TrueLearn Smart Bank. TrueLearn Smart Banks allow you to identify your areas of weakness and create custom quizzes so you can concentrate on those specific subjects. On top of that, the smart banks are constantly being updated because things change constantly in medicine. Updating test items on a regular basis ensures TrueLearn smart banks are always up to date. There's also different testing modes, which I really love. The TrueLearn platform allows learners to take questions in 3 different testing modes. There's time, there's untimed, and there's tutored. I like to start in tutor, so I'm not so rushed. And then as I learn more and more of the content, I go to time. TrueLearn also has super succinct explanations for each question. There's a lot of complex minutia that you have to learn in medicine, and TrueLearn helps reduce complex explanations into simple, easy to understand snippets. There's also really powerful analytics. So when you log into TrueLearn, you'll basically see how you compare to the national average, so you can see how you're doing. TrueLearn also uses spaced repetition. This is one of the most important study techniques I ever learned throughout college, medical school, business school, residency. Spaced repetition is key. So as you answer questions, there are algorithms that utilize spaced repetition and mnemonic devices, and they basically push personalized content that helps you consolidate specific topics into your long-term memory. And then finally, simulating test day. So TrueLearn's interface mimics the test day environment. So when you get in there on the actual test day, it feels like you've done it before. What you're seeing when you practice on TrueLearn is what you're going to end up seeing on the actual exam. And then one last thing, which is one of my favorite features of TrueLearn, is that they partner with one of my favorite study resources, Picmonic. I've talked about Picmonic throughout many videos. Picmonic uses cartoon mnemonics that help you memorize medical diseases and treatments. I've been using Picmonic since my 3rd year of medical school, so over 4 years I've been using Picmonic, and I can honestly say that I would not have scored as well as I did on USMLE 1, 2, and 3, as well as my med school exams, if it was not for Picmonic. TrueLearn Smart Bank incorporates Picmonic videos into the explanations to help you memorize and store the information. So whether you're preparing for your residency boards, the USMLE, or really any major medical exam, TrueLearn Smart Banks are tailored to your needs. To learn more and try TrueLearn Smart Banks for yourself, visit the link in my description. Thank you, TrueLearn, for sponsoring the video today. Tip number 6, time management. So here are some things that I do to be as efficient as I can. This is in no particular order. When I'm writing notes, my phone is on silent. I ensure that my blood sugar doesn't drop, so I eat snacks throughout the day, because when I get hangry, you do not want to be around me. I hydrate throughout the day, because when I get dehydrated, you do not want to be around me. I delegate tasks to medical students. This is something that you'll learn to do as a resident. There are things that med students can help you out with that can save your time and also be educational for them. I set realistic goals. And then one of the most important things is I learned to say no. You can't do it all. You can't do that extra research project that your attending asks you to do. You gotta balance everything. Tip number 7, seek work-life balance. We were just talking about balance, so seeking work-life balance in residency is crucial. Residency can be all-consuming but it's critical to create a balance between your professional and your personal life. So schedule time for hobbies, relationships, self-care. My wife and I always make sure that we have at least 1 or 2 dates every month where we go out to dinner and it's just us, and preferably we don't talk about medicine. Also, make sure you schedule the time to do what you love to do. And for me, that's tennis, soccer, skateboarding, gardening. These are just some things that I like to do. Even if it's for 5 minutes a day, that's all you need sometimes. Your friend circle will also shrink when you go into residency. So cultivate the relationships that you have, or the relationships will suffer. Cultivate a support system outside of work, and don't forget to make time for yourself. Tip number 8, effective communication. This is a tip I thought about a lot because I don't think people talk about this too much. So basically, as a resident doctor, effective communication with your patients, with your colleagues, and with the nurses and the other team members is critical. So learn to actively listen, be respectful, and practice clear and concise communication. Enhancing your communication skills will improve patient outcomes. It will foster a better teamwork type environment, and it reduces misunderstanding. Just for example, learn how to call a consult. The first time I called a consultant to general surgery or cardiology, it was a disaster. I was not prepared. Now when I call a consult, I start with introducing myself. I tell the people my role. I provide them with my reason that I'm calling them. I provide them with the patient information and then my consult question. Learn how to give feedback to students that's constructive. That's a whole different skill set that no one ever taught me as a medical student. And lastly, learn how to effectively communicate with nurses. They can make your life so much better as a resident doctor. All right, tip number 9, learn from challenges. So residency will present you with a number of challenges, from difficult patients to complex medical cases, and you will inevitably make mistakes. You are a doctor in training, and when you do make a mistake, let your attending know. Ask them how you should proceed and how you can prevent something like this from happening in the future. It's totally normal to make mistakes. You are there to learn. Residency is also a job, and you have bosses, you have colleagues, and you have students. So you're basically somebody's coworker, somebody's employee, and somebody's boss. It's a really difficult balance, and it takes time to learn how to navigate that. Embrace these challenges as opportunities for growth and learning, and seek guidance from your supervisors. Reflect on your experiences. I recommend journaling. I journal a lot about things that happen in residency, and then continue to strive and improve. Resilience is built through overcoming obstacles, and you will encounter a lot of obstacles in residency. Finally, tip number 10, foster work relationships. Residency is not just about medical knowledge. It's also about building connections. Collaborate with your colleagues, support each other, and create a positive work environment. I recommend attending social events when you can, join organizations in your residency or outside of it, and then network with professionals in the field. These relationships will not only enrich your residency experience, but they also lay the foundation for future collaborations. You never know who someone is going to be in your life. So that current co-resident may be your business partner down the line, or maybe they will know about some sort of dream job opening and recommend you. Do not burn any bridges. Network and maintain your relationships. All right, so those are my top 10 tips and advice for new resident doctors. Remember, you are embarking on a difficult, really difficult journey, and one that's going to teach you so much. Believe in yourself, stay committed to your patients. Don't forget why you became a doctor in the first place. Best of luck, and congratulations on becoming a resident doctor.